Turn on your VCRs, because it's time for another review. Hey, what's happening? YouTubers are back with a brand new action figure review, and today we're going to take a look at the new Hasbro Marvel Legends Spider-Man and Marvel's Vulture 2-pack. Now, this just got announced recently at PulseCon, and simultaneously it was in stock. And to me, I think that's how it should be anytime new product gets announced, but that's not the name of the game. Anyways, like we always do with reviews, let's get started with the box art first. So I'm kind of stoked to get this because this is the first time I've bought anything that is, you know, animated series inspired in this VHS style from Hasbro. I did get the the X-Men one a couple of years ago. I picked up a few of them, but first time getting the animated series one, and like we always do with the reviews, let's get started with the box art first. So as I mentioned, it's sort of like their VHS inspired design, and you got to give a shout out to the design artist Harry Moore for emulating the old animated series style into modern times and modern aesthetic. But I always appreciate like this style, like this VHS style box. It's got the 2-pack. If you actually had VHS tapes back then, you knew the long movies that were like 3 hours plus had 2 tapes, and I kind of think of this like that. But on the side, you see Spider-Man, Marvel's Vulture, and I like how they keep the logo or the font style similar to how it would say VHS tape on old school VHS tapes, I guess. On the back, you see the image of the action figures. On the side, you see the Spider-Man logo, and then the image artwork of Spider-Man and Vulture. All right, that is enough about the box art. Let's get Spider-Man and Vulture out of the box. All right, here are the figures out of the box, and let's take a look at Vulture first, because I got a lot to say about the Spider-Man figure. We'll take a look at the Vulture first. We'll take a look at his accessories, and he comes with these wings that you've seen before. It's the same thing like Falcon had, which honestly, I don't mind. I think they're fine. Some people out there really hate these things, but I think it's fine. Vulture comes with 2 sets of hands. The first set of hands we're going to take a look at are these open hands, and then he also comes with a pair of fisted hands. And the figure comes with 2 head sculpts, and the first one we're going to take a look at is a younger version of the Vulture. So how this works is with power set, he would drain the youth, or the youth out of younger people, which sounds really weird, but he would drain them and then make himself younger in the process. And to me, the head sculpt came out great. It keeps that animated series style aesthetic, but also bring it to life in Marvel Legends form. And I know sometimes that's hard to emulate, but I think they knocked it out of the park with this one. And then the second head sculpt, jeez, looks like me. The second head sculpt is in his older state, so for toy photography purposes, you can essentially have like a photo done where he's trying to drain the youth out of Spider-Man or something like that. And then next frame, you can have him, you know, right there with the younger self and with a full head of hair. But when it comes to the figure, I'm probably going to be posing it with this head sculpt because it just works better. But we'll take a look at the rest of the figure. I think they did as good a job as they can do mimicking that animated series style in Marvel Legends form. Like I mentioned, much like the head sculpt, I think it turned out pretty well. And just to kind of showcase, in case you never had the Falcon figure or I think the older Vulture figure had these type of wings too, it just ports into that little thing right there. And just line it up. And these are designated, it says right and left, in case you're confused about which wing goes where. Alright, now Spider-Man's up next. So he has 3 sets of hands. The first set we're going to take a look at are a pair of thwipping hands. Then he also has a pair of fisted hands. And then he has a pair of gripping hands, and that's because it's to grip this accessory that I've been waiting for Hasbro to release with a Spider-Man figure for a long time. It's an unmasked accessory. It's basically his mask taken off. Kind of looks like that SpiderMan meme, actually. SpiderMan! But, no, we've seen Mafex do their own. We've seen SH Figuarts do one from the movie versions. But it's nice to see Hasbro finally make one. It's just surprised it took this long to finally get one. And if you're looking for, like, open hands, if you have any of the other, you know, Spider-Man figures, you could easily just swap them out. Sorry, guys, my glass half full solution. It's stupid. Now, Spider-Man comes with 3 head sculpts. And the first one to take a look at is his masked head sculpt, which, to me, this looks great. Definitely emulates the animated series aesthetic, and when comparing it to the Walmart exclusive animated series cell shaded version, they look similar, just this one just looks a little bit, you know, bigger scale, basically darker red. But yeah, I think it came out really well. Then he comes with the Peter Parker head sculpt, which I believe this is the same one that came in that 2-pack with Smythe. I don't know because I never got that. And speaking of which, that 2-pack has shot up there in price, which is insane. The last head sculpt he comes with is a Flash Thompson head sculpt, which I wasn't expecting that. Kind of looks like Biff Tannen from Back to the Future. But there was an episode in Spider-Man the Animated Series where Flash was rocking the Spider-Man costume. And I guess if he wanted to, because Flash is technically supposed to be taller, if you have the Walmart version, like the Walmart, the retro carded version, I guess technically that works because Flash is bigger. And then when taking a look at the rest of the figure, here's where I have a lot to say. So in terms of the color, like the paint and the deco, it looks fine. It looks, for me, I would have rather they've done sort of this shading of blue and red as opposed to this one. But yeah, just to keep it consistent. But then again, I didn't like the cell shading on this. Anyways, so here's what I have stuff to say about this figure. It's using the Sunfire body mold, which I get reused as the name of the game. But when you have a series, I should say, of figures, I would hope there'd be some sort of consistency, and I'll show you. Okay, so here's the comparison. These are the 3 primary body molds being used for Spider-Man in the animated series wave, or the VHS wave, what do you want to say? But I don't have the Symbiote Suit one, but it is using the Renew Your Vows body mold, so I'm using it for comparisons. So you have the Symbiote Spider-Man being used on the Renew Your Vows body mold, and then you had the retro-carded but still animated series style Spider-Man being used on the Amazing Fantasy body mold, and then you're kind of taking a step back now with the Sunfire body mold. The reason why I say it's a step back is because of this. The waist cut to me was good for its time in terms of engineering, but when we already have primary body molds being used that are much better aesthetically and move way better, why are we still using this body mold? I know there's budget purposes and stuff, but I think consistency really is a key to me, especially if it's a specific line. I get all Marvel Legends can't have the same type of budget, but if you set the precedent that the main body mold for Spider-Man is on this body mold, the Renew Your Vows one, it should stay that way. Meaning the retro-carded one should have had that body mold. Meaning this 2-pack one should have had that body mold. Because when you look at this figure, it resembles the animated series aesthetic very well. Until you break down the engineering, the articulation, it's very dated compared to what we have already out there. And as I mentioned, you know, some waves have different budgets and stuff like that. Like the Zabu wave will be different from like the Blackheart wave. But something in terms of the VHS line, which is specifically catered to this type of Spider-Man, you'd think there'd be a little bit more emphasis on consistency with the line. But I mean, there are some redeeming qualities about it, you know, the pinless joints, which I said, they don't make or break a figure for me, but it is nice to see. It's just, you have updated things on here just on an older body mold. I just wish they would have went with the Renew Your Vows mold. Or, I mean, I guess to keep it consistent, the Amazing Fantasy 2 would have been nice, but me personally, I would have much rather seen it on this. But let me know what you think in the comments below. And I don't want anyone out there thinking I'm completely crapping on this figure, because I still think this is a decent figure, especially when you consider the offerings. There's 3 head sculpts, 3 sets of hands, and this awesome masked accessory, which I'll probably use for other Spider-Man figures. But yeah, I mean, it's still a solid figure release. It just would have been a lot better at taking it over the top if they had put it on a better engineered body mold. Now I was going to jump right into size comparisons, and for a size comparison, here's Spider-Man standing next to some other Spider-Man figures that you've already seen. We have the Renew Your Vows Spider-Man, we have the Walmart exclusive retro-carded Spider-Man, and on the right, we have the retro-carded Symbiote Spider-Man, aka the Just J. Hernandez Spider-Man. Next size comparison, here he is next to the Marvel Legends Venom from the 2-pack with Null, and on the right, the retro-carded Spider-Man, the very first one. Next size comparison, here he is next to the Marvel Legends Destroyer and Thanos, and if you know, you know. And next size comparison, kind of keeping it within the theme of animated series figures from Marvel Legends, we have some X-Men 97 figures. On the left, we have Bishop, and on the right, we have Magneto. And last size comparison, here's the 2-pack of figures next to a Tesla that a very special friend of mine got for me. Alright, some overall thoughts on this 2-pack? It's good. And to me, you know, I have my fair share of criticism for the Spider-Man figure, but the Vulture figure, to me, is perfect if you're looking for an animated series Vulture, and definitely completes that rogue gallery in your collection. Spider-Man is still a decent figure, especially when we look at the offerings. So in my opinion, yeah, I think the 2-pack is worth it, especially if you missed out on that Peter Parker and Smythe 2-pack just to get a Peter Parker head sculpt, because that thing is insane now. It's like anywhere between $100 to $170 to get that 2-pack. But overall, yeah, I would still suggest this 2-pack, especially if you're a fan of Spider-Man and the animated series. But let me know what you think in the comments below. YouTubers, sound off, and like always, if you like what you see, be sure to hit that like button. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, what are you doing? Go ahead, help me get to 3,000. Go ahead, subscribe. Thanks for watching.